Howdy guys, welcome back. I'm not going to do a video on the Falcon today, it's just a short video on the Escort. I went on a cruise yesterday with a Ford Focus XR4, XR5 Facebook group in Hunter Valley here, and yeah, we went out up the valley, up Hunter Valley to Bulga Tavern, and went through in the mountains and that, and I took the Escort. The Escort went really well. The only problems I had, I lost my speedo, and the engine was starting to play up a bit, starting to break down a little bit, high RPM. So that could be just the map sensor or something, I don't know. But I ordered some new plugs for it. So as soon as I got home, I got a fan set up and started blowing it down onto the motor to cool the engine down. Then I pulled off the G25 660 Garrett turbo, pulled that off, and then fitted up this G30 770. So this is a pretty big turbo in comparison to this one. The problem I was having with this little turbo, I think you see the exhaust housing there, it's very small, so the turbo spooled up great. It was like really good on the street, like driving around and come on boost real quickly, but yeah, it was too small for the job. And what I was mainly concerned about, the exhaust housing being so small, you give it one good run and the exhaust housing starts getting really hot. And even on the dyno, the whole thing was just glowing orange, so yeah, not cool. So I'm hoping with this bigger turbo I can run less boost, get the same amount of power, but obviously the motor's going to have to rev that harder and it's not going to spill as easy, but I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, being V-band, you could basically just swap them straight over. No problems at all. The only issues I have is these pipes reaching around this bigger intake turbine, so the cold side of the turbo is a lot bigger. So, but it was all good. It only took me probably an hour and a half, put this turbo on, start the car up. It's sweet. So all I have to do now, I had this old, what I've done, I made this airbox here, and this pipe here went like so, like that. But yeah, obviously this is too small, so what I'm gonna have to do, I've got these two big 4-inch manual bends in mild steel, so I'm gonna have to make something that comes off this and goes to there. And the old air filter I was running was just absolutely pathetic. It's just in a really sad way. So what I've done, I went to Supercheap Auto, bought all the stuff on there, but I've got this new K&N filter. It's getting a bit of fun trying to make that fit, but I'll make it work. So I'll get onto that now and hopefully knock all this out today, get this sorted. So I got a dyno, it's today's Sunday, so I got a dyno tune on Thursday. So I've got 2 night shifts, Monday night, Tuesday night. So I'll have to get as much as I can done on this today. And then there's no anti-tramp set up in the back of this car, so it's basically just leaf springs, the Falcon ball water diff. And I'm concerned about the diff flexing on the leaf springs and, you know, bad things happening. So I've got these Falcon, FG Falcon upper control arms, so I'm going to see if I can make them work as anti-tramp. Make a bracket and a well on top of the diff somewhere. Shouldn't be a massive job. Just hoping I've got the materials to do it. So I'm just starting to get ready to get this in the right shape, so I'll just use zip ties to get a nice even cut around it. So I'll just mark it with permanent marker. So here's the K&N filter. The funny part about these K&Ns now, they use these adapter rings to adapt it to whatever size pipework you got. So yeah, it's worked out in my favour, but I don't need them. So yeah, fits alright. So it slots in there like that. So I've made this little airbox, so obviously it catches the cold air from front of the car. I could just put a pod on here, but then even then it conflicts with this Holden 202 firmset housing. So yeah, it's even if you had it like that, I just don't like it. I think the main reason I set this airbox up was when I was in the process of getting the car engineered. There was these strict criteria about what you can and can't do with pollution equipment. So one of them was to try to have, with this engine, try to have like an airbox for it, like what this engine would have had from factory. So yeah, there's a lot of work to make this contraption, but yeah, it works good. So I've just been cutting up the pipe, get it to the desired shape, and yeah, a lot of fiddling around. I'm gonna have to make it like a recessed area to get it around this thermostat housing. Not much I can do about that. There's nowhere else for that thermostat housing to go. But what I'll do, all this behind here was all closed up, but I think I'm going to leave it open. That way I'll get a little bit more air going through the front of the car to go around the turbo, because there's a lot of heat in that area and there's not much area around it. So I figured if it goes through there, it'll help keep the engine bay temperatures down. Because Escorts are known for, I've known a few in the past that have had nasty engine bay fires, so it's just so ridiculously tight. But yeah, I want to wrap this up today, get this sorted, and then I've just set up the anti-tramp, and then I can get a dyno tune on Thursday. I've got these. I do Autobahn. I didn't want blue. Did not want it. I wanted black, but couldn't find it anywhere. So I haven't got time to wait to buy anything online. So I'll have to do what I don't like doing, and that's to paint this black just to get by for now. So yeah, I'll have to get a proper black one, but all good. I managed to get this K&N filter to fit behind the grill. Bit of stuffing around, but it looks pretty good in there. I thought it was going to be a lot harder in this, because the pipe's so big, you know, 4-inch pipe. Trying to get a good bend that goes into the turbo and that. So I'll pull this thing back off now and start welding her up, and then give her a coat of paint, and it should be sweet. All finished now. Took it for a drive. I couldn't really get up it, but I did manage to get it to the point where it's starting to spool, and it used to spool around 2600. You feel it starting to come on. Now it feel it coming on probably about 3600. So I don't think that's too bad. It just the turbo's nowhere near as loud, which I expected, because it's a bigger turbo. It's not going to spool as much low RPM. So when you drive a normal, it's not that loud, but yeah, it feels great. I'm happy with it. It feels like more of a natural aspirated car driving it normal now. It doesn't feel like you're coming on boost, doing speed limits on the road, you know. So I'll show you under the hood. Yeah, so she's all in. The beanie, it's a bit tighter. I didn't think it'd fit, but it still fits, sort of. It's not tied down properly, but it's sitting there. But yeah, and you can see the air filter. Sneaky little spot. I don't know if I really like being able to see it like that. I don't know. See if it grows on me or it doesn't. What I'll focus on now, I'll focus on. I've got to give her an oil change, and I've ordered new plugs for it, because the plugs for it are cold plugs, so most of the stores won't stock them. So yeah, I've ordered the plugs, give her an oil change, and then I'll set up anti-tramp on my next opportunity, which will be after a night shift, and clean the fuel filter out, and then yeah, take it to V-Power Auto and throw her in the dyno. But I don't know how it's going to go, because I've got this, before I pull the turbo off, I had this bit of a mess. When you're building the boost up, it starts breaking down, just that little bit. I don't know if it's a map sensor or the fuel filter was starting to block up again. I don't know, but I'll worry about it. And see how it goes in the dyno, and be able to diagnose it then. It's usually where all the gremlins come out, when it's under full noise and the motor's under stress. Just rocked up here at VPR Auto and brought the Escort. Just to have a chat to him about what I've done to the car and that, and he's just he's doing this LS1 VX Commodore at the moment, so I'm going to watch that on the rollers. Just getting the car ready for the dyno. It's the afternoon before it. So when I had this car at the VPR Auto the other day, we were looking over the motor and he's having a geek, and we noticed there was a bit of smoke coming off the exhaust manifold. So we had a look closer and we found that the oil drain pipe that goes from the bottom of the turbo and goes to the sump, it's got like a swivel joint in it, and we noticed it's starting to leak from that. So yeah, so what's happening, the oil's dripping from that and going on the exhaust manifold, and there's a potential for a fire. So to combat that, I went to Pit Crew here in Beresfield, and I bought this 8AN 200 series line. So that's pretty much the best you can get from Speedflow as far as I know. And then I got these 45-degree bends, so that'll have the oil drains drama sorted. Once I've done that, then I'll have to get onto the fuel system. So I noticed, as I was saying before, when I took this car for a drive, it was starting to break down a bit high RPM, and it had me confused because I'll just show you. I've just drew a diagram up of this fuel system. So you got the factory Escort tank. I've modified it. It's got like a swirl pod inside it, but it goes from there. It goes for 100 micron Speedflow filter to twin Bosch 044 pumps, then goes from there to a 10 micron Speedflow filter. Well, this 10 micron, it blocks up probably once a month. So I clean that out, and then the car's sweet. But then, yeah, it keeps blocking up. So I've come to the conclusion that the factory Escort tank does not like E85, and the tank's slowly rusting away. So I'm gonna have to get onto that. But what I was gonna do, I just bought another 10 micron filter. I was gonna put that in here to stop the crap getting into the pumps. But then I just called up Fire Harbour in Victoria, and I told them the situation, what I'm having. I told them that I've just noticed the pre-filter in these pumps is starting to block up. So I was going to put the 10 micron in there, but they said don't do it. It's just you're going to get cavitation before the pumps, and the pump's going to go to pack it in. So as it is now, with the crap going through the pumps, it's already dramatically probably shortened the life of them. They're like 200 and something bucks each. So yeah, not good. So what I've been researching last night, you got these special fuel tanks that are made in the UK. They go in behind the back seat in the boot, and they've got their own little swirl pot built inside them. So you just put like a Carter black lift pump on the side there, and that keeps that swirl pot topped up. And then you've got a 8AN coming out of that and goes to the 200 series fuel line and goes to the pump. So that would solve that drama. And then you've got this thing here, it holds it in the boot, and then you've got this little filler that goes on top, so that you literally pop the boot, and then you can fuel it up from in the boot. So that's what they do with when people professionally race these Escorts. That's the tanks that you generally run. So it's got its own the one I'm looking at, it's got its own sensor unit built in it, so I can keep an eye on the fuel levels. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at doing. I really didn't want to do this, but the fact of the matter is, if I keep running it the way it is and keep blocking up the filter, I will definitely in time torch this motor. It will get destroyed, and then I'll have to rebuild it all over again, which sucks. I know this is a hell of a lot cheaper than all the other motors, because these motors are really cheap. This comes out of just a Ford Focus engine really, so, but it's got all forged internals. So what I'll do for now, I'll just clean the fuel system out, make sure that's sweet, make that line up for the turbo drain, then give her a fresh oil change, and yeah, it should be good for the dyno then. Just making this new oil dump line. You can see this one here, it's a saturated oil, and that's it's a proper Speedflow connection too. So yeah, that wouldn't have been cheap. That would have been like 40-50 bucks or something just for that line. So, and it's leaking. Not good. So it's making this new one, and I've got this special Speedflow just like a reflector sort of band that you put over the line, so that'll help reflect a bit of the heat. But yeah, it has its limitations, but yeah, I'm not gonna have a really close to manifold, so it should be all right. But yeah, it wasn't cheap. expensive buying this crap, but you got to do it right. Don't lose my car due to an engine fire. I just tried to fix the speedo. The speedo cable I use in this car is exactly the same as XB Falcon. So I've got this one up here that I've got out of the coupe. And what I've done, I pulled the inner cable out. You can easily just, you got the end of it there, which is exactly the same as the Falcon XB. So I pull the guts of that out, and then I found the end was snapped off, as suspected. I've had that happen numerous times in the past in Escorts. So what I've done, I've got the inner cable out of the XBs, tried to use it, but yeah, this XB one's like about so much too long, so I won't be able to use that. So what I'll do what I've done in the past, is get online and buy like a universal one, and then you cut it to length, and you put the little head on it that you need, and it'll be all sweet. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to stick with my mobile phone as the speedo now. Just testing everything out, making sure. So I've got you got different settings and stuff. I'm just trying to find it, but I've got, oh, here it is down here. So you got all these inputs and outputs. I've got twin pumps on this, right? So one of them comes on at about 3,000 RPM, 50% throttle open, and then a second pump gives enough fuel to not run out of fuel. So yeah, I'm just making sure everything's sweet. I'm not going to make any changes to this. I'm just going over it, and it's all been set up. But the tuner will muck around this tomorrow. Make sure everything's. You'll have to change it because of the turbo. But it's not leaking at all. Runs like a charm. So basically this motor is just an old Mark 1 Focus engine. Just got, from the bottom up, it's got ARP main studs. It's got factory crank, factory bearings all across the bottom. And then I got JE forged pistons, eagle rods, ARP main head studs, cosmetic, multi-layer head gasket, Newman upgraded valve springs, and it's got belted oil pump gears. The stuff is from the same problem as the Barras. It's got the oil pump gears and the end of the crank, and they can shatter. So yeah, these are billet. The rest of it's all bolt on. But I'm asking a lot from this motor. This motor was never ever intentionally made to make this sort of power, but they're pretty strong and they're reliable. But it's nothing. It's basically a poor man's Cosworth. If I had a unlimited money supply, I would have got a Cosworth YB. But this motor, if I grenade it, it breaks less than $3,000. I can build a whole new motor again. So yeah, it's pretty good. But basically, I'll put a picture up of the engine, or the car that this engine comes out of, and get it ready for the dyno now. I just got back from the dyno. Yeah, it was going to be, this video on this Escort was going to be a short video, but I think it's going to be a little bit longer now as it is. Once we got past the initial fine adjustments of the air-fuel ratio, timing, and just, he had to familiarise with the ECU and the tuning software, all good. But then, yeah, once we started build and boost, just started getting the RPM range, torques coming on, was starting to break down. So I thought it was fuel. Because I was doing this the other day when I went for the club run. But no, it's definitely the ignition system's failing. So it's got the factory coil on that motor. That they can be all right, but this one obviously it's not up for it. So what I'll do, I'll jump on the Burton Power in the UK and get an MSD coil. It's basically just a coil off a Windsor powered Mustang. The same coil, except the Windsors run two of them. But I'll get that coil, and I've already got the leads. Got two different types of leads. So yeah, I'll set that up. And then last night I bought that U-Butte fuel system for it. Cost me a bomb, but I'll set the fuel system up, put the new coil on it, and then I'll be back on the dyno. But it's going to make really good power. Like the motor sounds absolutely mint. So yeah, I'll probably a couple of weeks now, but I'll save this video and I'll put one up. I'll continue on with it soon. It's been a while since I've spoken that video. Straight after that point, I got a lot of advice of people off Facebook and stuff. And yeah, so I went apeshit buying stuff online. So I've just been gathering up parts. So I've got this fuel tank that goes inside the boot behind the it goes in behind the back seat. So it sits up in there nicely. It's what you use to that's what they use in Group 4 in racing escorts. Yeah, so they're a pretty solid tank, really good. So when they've got this thing here, so it sits up like that in the boot, so when they can fuel it up really quickly, you've got a splash thing there to pick up excess fuel spilling around, and you can watch this as it's filling up. So when they're in a real big hurry, quickly fueling it up, it's really good. It's got a built-in surge tank. So what I need to do, I'll get a Carter Black pump. I had a Carter Black pump. I had it in the Escort in the past as a lift pump for a surge tank. It was absolutely brilliant. So I use that for the surge tank, and then I have a 8AN supply for the twin Bosch pumps. So that's solid. It's foam filled aluminium, so it's really light. But I think it looks like stainless steel, but then you can see a bit of rust coming up here. So I'm thinking it might be mild steel. So I'm going to get some engine enamel and clear and just give it a coat. That way it won't rust up and shit. So that's that side of it. And I bought this Haltech Elite 1500. So it's basically a 4-cylinder version. So yeah, it's really good. Absolutely kicks ass. Way better than the ECU I've currently got. So the ECU, it's in the car now. It's called the Motorsport Electronics, or the ME221. So there's the basic wiring diagram, the ME221. It's just plug and play. It's so easy. Everything you just plug it in, load up a tune that they've got on their website, and the car's going. But it's still running the original Zetec factory coil, and it's wasted spark. It's not sequential, which sucks. So I looked into getting a MSD coil, basically the same coil I ran on the Mustangs, the Windsor 302s and stuff. And yeah, I was considering getting one of them coils and talking to people, and they're like, man, they're hit and miss. You're better off. If you're going to do it properly, you're just going to run either coil on lead off like a Toyota Yaris, or you go LS1 coil. So listen to me mate's advice, and he said just get on eBay and just buy 8 LS1 coils. The LS2s, it's over here somewhere where the lead goes on to, but so I've got 8 of these for 80 bucks off eBay. Then I've got these LS1 ends that go onto there. So I've got that. Then I've got a special billet bracket using to mount up 4 coils. So what I can do, I could probably get a multimeter and just test the coils and get the 4 best ones, because it's way cheaper than buying a brand new. So that's the coil part sorted, but the ME221 wouldn't have driven those coils. Would have been wasted spark, would have been sequential. So I decided to can the bloody ME221. I'll sell that. I've got this Haltech. So the Haltech, it's got 4 different outputs for the coils. You've got the sequential injection like it's already got. I've got the option of running a the idle air control solenoid, so that'll help me idling problems. At the moment, it's just like a dog. When it's cold, it's an absolute prick. You can run a richer mix on idle counteract it with it, but it's just dodgy. It's not the same. So when I took it to the VPR Auto, he leaned out the idle because the engine was hot. It didn't make a difference, but when it was cold, it wouldn't start. You'd have to sit there like a carbureted car again, sitting there revving it and keeping it going. But yeah, basically this will run the idle air control. I can even run drive-by-wire if I want. Launch control, which I'll need because it's got a bigger turbo on it now, so even though it's got a 3000 store converter for the automatic transmission, it's going to be more lazy. So set up free step, that'll be heaps better. It's just, I even got the option for traction control, basic traction control. If I want to run torque management and stuff like that, that's another add-on that I have to get. It's another $3,000, but I'm not worried about that. If it spins, I need better tyres. That's the way I'm looking at it at the moment. But and also I'm running the factory camshafts of the Escort still. So basically I've got these suckers, bought these from Burton Power in UK. So yeah, they're really good. So they haven't got much more lift. They just got more duration, but there's still a lot more duration than a factory cam. It's probably, I don't really looked into the details too much, but they're apparently, they reckon they're a grind for a turbo or a supercharged E-Tech engine, so that should be pretty good. So all I've got with this Haltech, I've got these universal loom. So what I'll do, talking to your mate, he reckons I should just get the ends that suit suit this this connection, and then I'll just adapt the current loom, which is plug and play for the Z-Tech, just adapt it to this, put new ends on it, and then the extra wires, they'll go to, like, you know, idle air control, stuff like that. But there's definitely big things happening with the Escort. It's just, at the moment I'm just gathering up parts. But yeah, and I've got this center unit that goes in the top here. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So what I'll do, I won't do much on the Escort for a bit now. I'll just be wiring up this ECU, then fitting these cams. I have to dial these cams in. If I just put the cams in as is, yeah, it won't be good. But the factory camshafts in the Z-Tech engine, I dare say that there'll be a limitation at the moment, because I know there's a lot of people in the UK reckon they can run up, I've heard people run over 500 horsepower, but I don't know. I'm not going to chance it. I'm not going to go to that dyno again and be disappointed by something. It just, every time I take that car to the dyno, I'm not getting the results I'm after. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Talk to you later.